Hello boys and girls, this is Mr. O, this is my dog, and you are most welcome to my channel where we look at the best, the worst, the silliest, and the grossest board games in the world, and sometimes learn something too. But usually not. Today I will be taking a deep dive into Doggie Doo. Oh no, well, that doesn't sound right at all. Today I will be probing the paw-printed path of puppy poo-poo. Ooh, no, that's not any better. Look, basically it's 3 games, all about dog poo, and they're all silly and gross. Let's have the logo. This is Doggie Doo, a dice rolling game for 2 to 5 players that takes about 10 minutes to play. Feed and walk your little pup. When he makes a mess, you clean it up. Because when you gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah, even the kid on the box is thinking, how did it get to this? First, feed your dog a food pellet, and you really have to poke it down inside its throat. Follow that up with the bone and make sure there's a tight seal. Next, the youngest player spins the spinner, and for ages we thought it was the dog's nose that points to the number, but actually there's an arrow on the dog's bottom, and really this makes much more sense. Squeeze the dog lead the number of times that you've spun and then pass it to the next player, unless you've spun a number with an arrow, in which case you spin again. When the, and I quote, doggy goes do, clear it up with a shovel and take a fart token. The first player with 3 tokens wins. This game is really funny, and everyone I've shown it to loves playing it. Somehow the sound of the food, or poo, going through and getting higher and higher each time always makes me laugh. I think the grossness helps too. For example, how you have to feed the dog its own, well, you know, and you really have to shove it inside his mouth, and how he wags his tail every time. And most of all, how everyone wants to look up the back end to see if the poo's coming. Everyone does that. I think they could have made the poo brown though. I mean, were they worried that brown poo would make the game disgusting? Like this, all of this is fine, but brown poos would be too much. The other thing that makes me laugh is needing to clean up the poo afterwards. Like someone said, sure, we'll make your poo game, but make sure it's educational too. This is not an educational game. It's just a game about poo. Or is it? It's actually quite a good representation of our digestive system. You put the food in, then it is gradually pushed out the other end. In our bodies, this happens through peristalsis, which is where your guts squeeze the food along like a ping pong ball in a sock. The basic idea is the same with this plastic dog. Pressure on this side causes the poo to move in one direction. In the game, the lead handle pumps air into the system, and because the mouth is blocked by the bone, the poo has to go the other way. The sound goes up in pitch because the air is moving through a smaller and smaller space, just like water filling up a bottle. You see, there's lots of science in this. So, should you add it to your Christmas list? Yeah, maybe. It's fun to play once in a while, but let's be honest, it won't really tax your brains. The new version has a corgi instead of a dachshund like my one. I would put it in the stocking filler only section. This is Don't Step in It, a party game for 1 or more players. It takes at least 5 minutes to play. Avoid the number 2s to be the number 1. To set up, first unroll the mat and try to flatten it. This is probably the hardest part of the game because it never stays flat. Then create 5 poos using the compound. It's Play-Doh. But oh look, it's actually brown. Now, they give you a mould for making the poos, but it's not very easy to use. Much better to roll out a sausage and twist up a Mr. Whippy by yourself. The youngest player goes first, so they put on this blindfold and someone else spins the spinner for them. The player has to take at least that many steps. No running, jumping, tiptoeing, or stopping. The number of poos you step in is your score. Lowest score wins. The other symbols on the spinner mean add a poo, remove a poo, or rearrange the poos already on the mat. This is pretty fun. Everyone enjoys making the poos, and stepping in them is genuinely quite gross. Not just because they look like poos, but because they are cold and squidgy. There are quite a few variations to this game that make it better, so here they are. 1. Don't use the mould, as I've already said. You can also make different kinds of poo, like rabbit poo, or big long ones, and so on. 2. Ditch the blindfold from the box, because it's too easy to see through, and use an eye mask from a flight, or even better, a hair towel. 3. Have someone hold your hand as you walk along the mat, especially if you're using the hair towel. It's very easy to go astray. 4. Add other poo toys. I have these silicone ones, which are fun too, or this squeaky one. 5. And this is the best one of all. Change the name, like so, to Step in It, and change the winner to the one who steps in the most poos. But why this change? The reason is that it's actually quite easy to avoid stepping in the poo. As humans, we naturally try not to step on things. It's a reflex that humans develop at a young age, especially if they grow up in houses with Lego bricks. We find that players mostly avoid the poos or don't step on them fully. If, however, the aim of the game is actually to step in the most poos, then everything changes. People need to step in the poos to win, but it's still absolutely gross. You can still enjoy seeing people's faces when they get cold, brown Play-Doh between their toes, and it happens more often to people now it's the aim of the game. This is a hilarious game, but you don't really need to buy it. You can easily make it yourself. You just need a mat, some brown Play-Doh, a blindfold, and a dice for the number of steps. Maybe don't bother Father Christmas about this one. Finally, this is Skid Markz, a drawing game for 3 to 9 players. Scoot, the skid marking dog, is making a mess all over the floor. But are these scribbles crafting a clue? As a teacher, I feel like I have to explain this word skid mark. It means, according to the Oxford Dictionary, a mark made on the surface of a road by the tyres of a skidding vehicle. Now, change the road to underpants, right? And change the tyres to... well, if you don't get it now, you'll never get it. To set up, take the... wait, this game hasn't even been unwrapped. I bought this in the charity shop for £2, and not only did the previous owner not want to keep it, they never even bothered to play it once. Some people. Anyway, you attach the lead to Scoot, that's the dog, and put a pen through the back until, and I quote, you can see the tip of the marker showing in the bottom of the dog. Please don't do anything like this with a real dog or any animal. Shuffle the bone cards and set aside the poo points and the challenge die. You have to provide your own timer and your own whiteboard cleaner, a phone and a tissue. You're also supposed to agree on a difficulty level for the whole game, but I think it's easier just to let people choose their clue card by card. The first player takes a bone card, reads it secretly, and attempts to draw the clue. The other players have a minute to guess what it is, and whoever guesses correctly gets a POO point card, and so does the player who was drawing. Place your POO point cards in front of yourselves, forming, and I quote, POO piles. If nobody guesses, no points are awarded. Either way, discard the bone card and give scoot to the next player. There is also a challenge die, which you can roll at the start of your turn. This means draw without looking. This is straight lines only. This is one continuous line. This is draw in secret and only reveal when you are finished. This is draw upside down. And this is draw with your non-dominant hand. This means the hand you don't normally do things with, which for me is my left hand. The rules say play 3 rounds for small groups or 2 for big groups. Most points wins. This is a silly game and very gross. I also like how upset everybody seemed to get about it. Seriously, there are newspaper articles with angry parents talking about this game. This game. I also like the dog model. If you've ever seen a dog doing this, you'll know how accurate it is. They don't draw pictures though, just so you know. Once you've got over how weird and gross this is, it's basically just a difficult version of Pictionary. As I was playing it, I kept wishing I was playing that instead. I mean, if you already have good drawing games like Pictionary and Telestrations, then I suppose. But check your local charity shop first, if you know what I mean. And if I had to choose one, Doggie Doo, maybe. Mums, dads, grown-ups and teachers, head over to my second channel where I have suggestions for playing these games and similar ones at home and in the classroom. Keep on gaming. You say goodbye to the people and you